traditionally is we read a poem called Ode to the Haggis. It's a Robert poem, and we do things a little bit differently here because I know we have a few vegetarians in the crowd, but we have both vegetarian haggis and traditional haggis. So what we're going to do with the reading tonight is we're going to do a point and counterpoint back and forth between the Ode to the Haggis and Ode to the Veggies, as we call it. And so we're going to get that started here. So you can sit back there and lie away from the house people. Alright, here we go, folks. Ode to the Haggis.
And Bill Warnicke over here will be doing it with the address to the veggies. So, fair fire your honest soncy face, great chieftain o' the puddin' race, about then yet tak your place, painch, tripe, or thern, weel are you worthy o' a grace, as long as my hair.
Address to a veggie. Happy we are to see your well-ripened face, great chieftain o' the organic race. A boon meat byproducts, take your place, wheel beyond tripe or head cheese. Ye are worthy of a grace, and far more able to please.
The growing trencher there you feel, your hurdy's like a distant hill. These are hurdies. Your pin might help to mend the mill in time of need, while through your pores the dews distill like amber bead.
On a weight-conscious trencher, there ye sit. You make our hurdies so lean and fit. You have nutritional value that does not quit in time of need. Reeking rich, steaming through the potato skin split, earthy goodness freed.
His knife see rustic labor dight, and cut you up with ready sleight, trenching your gushing entrails bright, like on a ditch. And then, oh, what a glorious sight, warm, reeking, rich.
His knife see hungry vegan rise alight, and cut you up with ready delight, trenching your leafy entrails bright with a greenish hue. And then, oh, what a glorious sight, savory and healthy too.
Then horn for horn they stretch and strive, till take the hindmost on they drive, till at their wheels swell kites belvie, are bent like drums. Then old goodman must like to read, bethanked homes.
Then horn for horn the vegans strive, devil take the hindmost, on they drive, but eat and drink still their hunger will thrive, since veggies are not filling. Then old bacon most like to thrive, for seconds he is willing.
Is there that o'er his French ragout, or oil that would stow a soup, or fricassee would make her spew with perfect scorn, looks down with sneer and scornful view on sick a dinner.
Is there that over his prime rib thick, or sacked slab of beef sitting on the plate like a brick, or perhaps oysters like mucus slick, or maybe veal. Look down with cruel, sneering face aglow on such a meal.
Poor devil, see him o'er as trash, as feckless as a withered rash, his spindle shake, a gid whiplash, his knee a knit, through bloody flood or field to dash. Oh, how unfit.
Poor devils, see them over their fancy meat, as rotund as the bloated animals they eat. The shape starts to conform to their seat where they oft sit, to dash swiftly across a field in unlikely feet. Oh, how unfit.
Ouch. But mark the rustic haggis fed. The trembling earth resounds his tread. Clapped in his wily lever blade, he'll make it whistle. And legs and arms and hands will sned like taps of thistle. Take that.
But mark the lean veggie haggis fed, so light and nimble is his tread. And if you take him to your bed, he will not tire. He will finish the night in good stead, and certainly light the fire.
Ye powers what knock mankind your care, and dish them out their bill of fare. Old Scotland wants nae skinking ware, their joups and luggies. But if you wish her grateful prayer, give her a haggis. Haggis.
So ye powers that make mankind your care, and dish them out their bill of fare, old Scotland needs no more meaty ware, clogging hearts and all. But if you wish our grateful prayer, for veggie haggis heed our call.
All right. And the intro, freaking rich.
Okay, so our main course will be coming out along with the haggis, and we're going to do family style potatoes. So each day we'll get a haggis, and you guys can try as you choose. If there's anybody that would like the veggie haggis, please let us know. We can take care of you guys. So over the veggies is obviously not a typical one call. But was written by one of our co-authors and very good friend of ours, Kevin Hogan, out of Montana. He was quite the wordsmith and does a great job with stuff like this. So I'd like to thank Kevin for that stuff also. Hope you guys enjoy your haggis, please.
Here, break this up.
Enjoy. How many people have ever had haggis before? So most of us have haggis. Okay. Well, enjoy this, and we'll be back in a couple weeks.
Hello, I'm William Fletcher. I'm here in McMinnville, Oregon for the 3rd annual McMinnville Burns Night Supper. So this is an annual occurrence to celebrate the life, the poetry, and other works of Scotland's probably most famous son and absolutely the best poets and one of the best poets in the English language. This is my 2nd year at the dinner, though I've been involved in Burns Night's dinners for 10-15 years now. So the other ones have been private, and so it's fun to come to an organized event. Asked about my family background. As many Americans are, I'm an amalgamation from all over the world with a strong Scottish input. So the main line is the Keiths, which are a sept of the McPherson clan. We're not quite sure when they came over to the United States, but have been through the town of Keith in Scotland once. I'm wearing the Keith tartan, so both the tie and the tartan, and because it's a sept of the McPherson clan, and there was probably intermarriage in there at some point, I've got the McPherson touch knot, the cat butter glove, coat of arms in the bottom, and my tie has a tie tack that's a Smilodon, saber-toothed tiger, which is a cat, and you certainly not want to touch that without a glove.
Hi there, my name is Bill Wilton. I'm a board member for the Celtic Heritage Alliance here in McMinnville, Oregon, and we're here at the Robert Burns Supper, and going to have about 150 guests here this evening. This evening I'm wearing Clan Buchanan tartan. My great-grandmother's clan. Been in the United States through Canada for about 125 years. And we're just looking forward to having a great evening and hearing some Burns poems and enjoying some haggis and some good Scottish music. And it's always a good time.
We have over there covered in the first one. You may go to the first level back to this. They are one of the top sponsors in the year so far. We have Evergreen and O'Reilly both like this. We have our baby Scotch and one of our sponsors like this. So, just to read out here a little bit, as far as the good goes, we have a few more around here. But, up to the back there, we have Chris Starrett. He's a marketing manager, who's got very well. We got Ricky Baker. Bill, back to Bill. Dave Holland, our treasurer. You guys probably all met Gretchen as you were coming in. She is our secretary. We have Rick Navy, our vice president. And we have Chris William, California vice president. But I want to say thank you all for coming, and we are so excited about the event. Thank you, Tony. You guys having a good time? All right. How many of you, is this the first CHA event you've ever been to? Yes! Right on. What about the first Burns Supper you ever been to? Oh, right, you guys are in the tree. Good job. Well, the Celtic Heritage Alliance does a lot of good things. We do events like the one that you're here today, celebrating Burns Supper. Burns, you can hear more about him. If you guys have ever been to the Scottish Festival, well, actually raise your hand if you have. Oh yeah, coming up in June, 13th and 14th, make sure you mark it on your calendar. Always the second weekend in June at Millfield College. I'm excited for you guys to make it to that as well. But the Celtic Heritage Alliance does that event. We do Scotch tastings, we do whiskey tastings, we do a lot of different things. We try to support programs and events that promote Celtic heritage. And we can't do it without our sponsors. I just want to give an extra hand to First Federal, an extra hand to the Barbary. Thank you. We have Oregon Mutual. We have David Hamilton here today too. We want to give them a big round of applause for them. We also
also can't do it without our volunteers. And it takes an army of volunteers to pull off an event. And I just want to just give a welcome, a big hearty, hand to our volunteers. So thank you. I want to recognize, servant leadership is very important to Celtic Heritage Alliance and to me personally. It takes a lot to make our community great. And I want to recognize some individuals here, some dignitaries that are here celebrating maybe their first burn supper, I don't know. But we have Ron Noble here, who's our representative. We have the lead commissioner, Mary Starrett, here. And does everybody else see other dignitary public service and money? Thank you guys very much. I also want to recognize someone else here tonight. Like I said, servant leadership is very, very important, and we can't have a great community without individuals that take initiative to make the place a better place to live, work, and play. And so I want to recognize somebody special here today. Heidi Parker, will you stand? Thank you. All right. So you might be wondering, Celtic Heritage Alliance, this is awesome. How can I help this organization? Well, I'm glad you asked, and we're thinking that. You can by buying some raffle tickets. Yes, you can help us by buying $5 raffle tickets. They're 50-50 tickets. So we'll split the pot with you at the end of the night. So I'll be walking around each table, and hopefully you guys can buy some tickets. You can buy them in a couple different ways. You can buy them with cash. You can buy them with a card, so it doesn't really matter what you got. Everybody's got a credit card. It's okay to go into debt for a good cause. Trust me. So the other thing I want to let you guys know is that we, with the money that we collect, it helps fund events like we do today. We are a non-paid board. We do not have any paid positions. We are all volunteers. We work very hard to try to bring this to you. But we also support other organizations that also try to do the same thing, do the mission. And we support our local Irish dancers here. We got our Irish dance troupe. And, to buy uniforms, especially handmade in Ireland, it's expensive. And so we want to support the arts, Celtic arts, and so we give to them, and we have for the last 2 years. So, any parents of Irish dancers here tonight? Stand up. All right, thanks for So, guys, please enjoy yourself tonight. I'm going to hand that over to Tony, and talk to you later. That's good. Okay, so we're going to get this ball rolling here. We're going to start off with our first reading of the night. So, how do we know why you're here tonight celebrating this? Did everybody know why we're here? So we are here to celebrate Robert Burns. Robert Burns is Scotland's national bard, poet. You guys probably know some of his works, like on New Year's Eve, everybody sings Old Lang Syne at 12 o'clock. That's a Robert Burns poem. A Red Red Rose is another Robert Burns poem. So he's done a lot of work. On the table, you'll see we have a book with poems on the table. There's a number of different poems in there. And we're going to open up the floor tonight as we go on. If someone wants to come up and do a reading. So happy to have you guys come up and do a reading with us. It'd be really awesome. I'm going to start off tonight with our early reading.
So our first reading that we're going to do tonight is called Celtic Grace. And on a visit to St. Mary, Isle, Burns was requested by the noble owner to say grace to him. He abided in the request, and this is the poem is now called Celtic Grace. Some can eat, and some can eat, and some like that want, but we can eat, and we can eat, so let them learn the day. And with that, we're going to turn over to our music tonight. Brother Mingus here is going to start us off with a song. And while that's happening, there's a further conversation coming around, which is going to be Scotch eggs. Very, very good. Lovely Scotch eggs. And I did forget to mention one thing tonight, I want to mention this now, and that is the Waterbury is also one of our sponsors. They are doing this tonight. They're sponsoring to help cover some of the costs this tonight. We want them to give a Waterbury round of applause for helping us out here.
Thanks, mate. I'd like to thank you guys for having me back again. This is the only cover gig I do. I've got to learn someone else's songs, but I've got to learn someone's songs that may as well be Robbie's. So we're starting with his song for the common man.
Don't
Enjoy your dinner.
Thank you, Rita. It was awesome. That song, the song you sang there is another of my brother's song. Actually, everybody used to do it when I will be Robert Burns. That was called Hands of Man. And listen to some of the lyrics in that song. They talk about the God man and really trying to bring him up. And definitely worth reading. You're going to have to go on the table and read it out. It's a great song to read. So, one more thing I want to tell you guys also is that the Scotch glasses you guys are drinking out of and your beer glasses. If anybody would like to put this stuff in your order, let us know. We'll definitely hook you guys up. Take home what you do. Your little stock grams, or your tank glasses for beer, you want to go on sale. So our second portion is down here a little bit. We're going to be sweet and sour. And soup and pop and soup. We're going to do some chicken and soup. I hope you guys enjoy that. I'm going to let you guys enjoy your appetizer and talk for a bit, and then we'll roll on to another song and put the pipes going there.
Jacobins come by, lending near. Ye Jacobins by name, lending near. Ye Jacobins by name, your thoughts I will proclaim, your doctrines I must blame, you shall hear. What is right and what is wrong, by the Lord, by the Lord. Right and what is wrong, by the Lord. What is right and what is wrong, short so long. Weak arm always strong for the draw. You Jacobites by name, lend a ear, lend a ear. You Jacobites by name, lend a ear. You Jacobites by name, your thoughts I will proclaim, your doctrines I must blame, you shall hear. What makes heroic strife, fame to fall, fame to fall. What makes heroic strife, fame to fall. What makes heroic strife, to whet the assassin's knife, or haunt a parent's life with bloody war. Ye Jacobites by name, lend a ear, lend a ear. Jacobites by name, lend a ear. Ye Jacobites by name, your thoughts I will proclaim, your doctrines I must blame, you shall hear. And leave the schemes alone in the state, in the state. Leave the schemes alone in the state. Leave your schemes alone, adore the rising sun. Leave the man alone to his fate. Ye Jacobites by name, lend an ear, lend an ear. Ye Jacobites by name, lend an ear. Ye Jacobites by name, your thoughts I will proclaim, your doctrines I must blame, you shall hear. Ye Jacobites by name, your thoughts I will proclaim, your doctrines I must blame, your doctrines I must blame, you shall hear. shall
Okay, so we're going to move on to some more readings for today. I'm going to ask Jake Wood, would you mind coming up and reading? So, the next three readings we're going to do tonight, the next three scheduled readings we're going to do tonight are actually not written by Robert Burns. These are actually written by the people who are giving the speech. So, James is going to read his toast. It is the ode to the lasses. This is the men's toast to the women in their lives.
So, if you can't hear me in the back, please let me know. Can you guys hear me okay? Good? Alright, fantastic. First of all, there was some comments earlier, some introductions and some greetings, and there was a bit of a sorely missed. We all a part of here, well, some of us. The Highland Games athletes, who each and every one of you I respect, you guys do me a favor to stand up for a brief second. If you're a thrower, the Highland Games thrower, stand up. So, greetings to you, my friends, family, my Highland brothers and sisters, all you lads and lassies. Another year has passed, and we're here together again for this special occasion. And I have been challenged, charged, and asked to speak on the best of us, the lassies. As most of you know, we're gathered here today to celebrate our brother, the famous bard, Robert Burns. And as some of you may know, Robbie was quite fond of the ladies. Much the same as I, granted, his level of respect, unlike mine, did not quite match his fondness. He's reported to have somewhere between 10 to 12 children, depending on which article you read. Wrap that up yourself. But at least 4 different lassies, before he died at the age of 37. So before I get to the heart of this, I want to make a few promises, or at least express a few hopes, that you'll be entertained, amused, touched, and fulfilled. You may laugh. Hopefully you don't cry. But in the end, you will appreciate the dearest lassies. When I think of the lassies, I think of those finer details of how they look, how they smell, they feel. You catch my drift. I want to share some of those finer details with you today. One of the things that I absolutely love to watch is a lass's hair as it dances in a summer breeze, twisting and turning with each change of the fickle wind. I find myself searching for familiar shapes or visions of memories past, like in the clouds in the sky or foam floating in the sea. Oh, God, it's what you see in the curl of the smoke from your cigar is fantastic. Oh, that's a cigar?
Yes.
I'm sorry, a kiss! A kiss! What warms me more than the kiss of a lass? The feeling is our lip touch. The smell of her filling my nose. Oh, how the warmth spreads. From my lips to my tongue, all through my body. The embrace we share. My hand cradling as the embrace lingers. The feeling of the glass in my hand as I enjoy the dram of my favorite single malt. Wait, where was I? A kiss? My apologies again. My mind was drawn to the finest of scotch.
Well, what about those beautiful curves?
Those curves! I think of how I love to hug those amazing curves. The closer the better. Moving along those curves, flowing so smoothly from one to the next, as things move along, that feeling of the building euphoria and the feel of the revving engine, knowing as I twist the throttle, I'm about to set loose all 106.4 horses of my motorcycle. On the open road. I'm sorry. Again, I digress. Oh well. What about the last who engages mentally? Bringing new thoughts to every event, showing me the error of my ways, offering lessons on how to read a given situation or body language, teaching me to look for and to understand the smallest details. Bringing those lessons to both the amazing highs and the inevitable lows, showing me when I make the amazing calls and wondering of the eventual bluff. The poker table. She can do a little computer, can't she? Oh, I did it again. I just said poker. Again, I must apologize. Well, what about that personality? That enchanting, intoxicating, bubbly personality. Oh, how it spreads. It lifts me up. It always improves my mood and enhances my already charming personality. It encourages me to do my best, to stand tall, to walk with a swagger. Really more of a stagger. It helps me be relaxed, to be more confident, to laugh more, to wink, to slur my words most definitely. God, I love my beer. I mean laughs. I love my laughs. But all humor aside, lads, where would you be without the lasses? They bring everything good to our lives. Hell, without them, we wouldn't have lives. Literally, they gave us life. You know. Come on, catch up. Honestly, nothing warms my heart more than holding my lass close, enjoying the conversations, the laughs, the smiles, the gentle kisses, and the mad passion of love. I'm truly better as she helps me learn to be the best me that I can be. And let's be honest, lads. Those are some of the most difficult lessons we have in life. To wrap this up, I searched long and hard for a poem that really illustrated what I was trying to say. And for some reason, I kept coming back to the same poem that is deceptively simple, yet complexly ironic. And I can read Scotch. That's beautiful. I'd like to share with you now, which we've already heard once tonight, a Red, Red Rose. And I'm going to read it like I normally would read, not with a Scottish accent, because I'm going to totally butcher that.
What's your name with the accent?
Oh, my love is a red, red rose that's newly sprung in June. Oh, my love is like the melody that's sweetly played in tune. So fair art thou, my bonny lass, so deep in love am I, and I will love thee still, my dear, till all the sea is gone dry. Till all the sea is gone dry, my dear, and the rocks melt in the sun, I will love thee still, my dear, while the sands of life shall run. And fare thee well, my only love, and fare thee well a while, though it were 10,000 miles. And now to share my interpretation of this poem, the Cliff Notes edition. A simple review illustrates the subject is professing his love for his lass. But take a moment more and look a bit deeper. Repeating the color red, the color of passion and of love. To paint the picture of love in a melodic and almost dreamy way. Some might say that Burns' simple repetition is artless here. I disagree. To me, the simplicity gives a sense of sincerity that heavy-handed words would crush. Is he over the top and referring to the seas going dry and stone being ground away with time? Or is he simply illustrating that love is timeless and grows with each passing day? This leads to another question. If he loves her so, then why does he leave? I think Burns was illustrating that even though lads can't be with the lasses 24/7, his love can continue to grow to a point that even 10,000 miles is nothing. And love will inevitably bring them back together, no matter the distance. Now lads, I ask you to do this for me. Turn to your lass, and with love, with that look of pure love in your eyes, I want you to look in her eyes, and I want you to do this, not just today, but every day. And thank her for putting up with her shit. So join me now and raise your glasses as we toast the lasses.
Well done, Dave. Well done. I am happy to work with you. Okay, so now we're good with games, and the lasses have been spoken about. We're now going to give the lasses an opportunity to come up here and give them the ball. So, Caitlin, Val? By the way, guys, you should be scared. I think we're going to get burned a little bit.
All right, can y'all hear me okay, or do I need to hold this? Okay. Gentlemen, James, don't worry. Whatever happens in Tulsa stays in Tulsa. Wow, you're welcome. Okay, it's my honor and my privilege tonight to follow James, to issue the reply on behalf of the lassies, the fairer sex. I want to say it was a very elegant toast, very beautiful toast. You had wonderful, kind words, but now falls on me to respond and perhaps alter the tone of the evening, up to you to decide whether it's up or down. So we're going to start talking about men, and a wise woman once told me, men, you can't live with them, and you can't, well, it just helps to have some good lassies like Aixa and Brianna and Gretchen as alibis. So it's clear that men love the lassies, clear from Robert Burns' poems, that we inspire them to write poetry to us, that they're devoted to us. They'll do stupid things for us, like throw big stones, toss big rocks, and flip cabers to impress us. Men just don't really understand what we women want. Some get really, really strange ideas indeed, including Robert Burns. He once wrote a poem, I kid you not, you can Google this, 9-inch will please a lady. I can't imagine what that's about, I have no idea. There's also the other lot who have less inches and seem to think that they can compensate with driving a really nice car, or having a lot of really fancy cleavers. Now, sometimes men they don't get it right. You know, we've been accused of lacking logic as women, but we're actually quite good at dealing with the unexpected, while men sometimes flounder. Burns' own father-in-law, for example, when he heard that his daughter was pregnant with one of Burns' many illegitimate children, promptly fainted. It was Burns' father-in-law's wife that had the wherewithal to go get the whiskey to revive him. So, and I don't actually really buy into this Mars and Venus stuff, you know, the kind of sort of thing where women can't read maps, men don't listen or ask for directions. Maybe that is real. But I do think men and women can be equally as good at the same tasks. Multitasking, for example. Some people say men can't multitask. James just shared with us, you know, Robert Burns had 12-ish, maybe more, kids with 4, maybe 5 women, you know, in a span of 13 years before he died. That's multitasking. So clearly then, if it's a task that you see as very important, you can multitask. However, the other piece of information, Jean, who was Burns' wife, on the day of his funeral, she actually gave birth to his last child. I think that's the multitask winner in that family. But I'm not going to mock Burns, or men, Because despite Burns' flaws, Minn's flaws, you know, they look after their women. They care for the women. Burns especially provided for his family, worked extremely hard, wrote lots of poetry, did a lot of things to support his growing herd of children. And I'm sure a lot of the men in this room also, they care deeply about their families. They work hard, they care about their wives. It's kind of that Scottish clan thing. We believe in family. You know, I also want you to know that despite all the stuff we do to pick on you, all this leg pulling, that we really do appreciate having you around. And it's not just so that you can, you know, get the spider in the shower or, you know, change the light bulb we can't reach. We do enjoy having you around. Zsa-Zsa Gabor once said, "I just want a man who's kind and understanding." Is that too much to ask for a millionaire? So, despite all of Minn's shortcomings, you know, we can't get along without you. You're the yin to our yang. If nothing else, we need someone to tell what to do and to boss around. And all of our athletes understand what I'm talking about, because I boss it around all the time. So, I'm coming to the end here, and even though I'm a woman, it pains me to not have the last word. I'm going to give the last word to the man of the hour, to Robert Burns, because he wrote a poem that I think really kind of grasps that harmony between men and women, how they get along. We will build a wee house, and we will live like king and queen. So bliss and merries we will be. When ye set the wheel at evening, a man may drink and nor be drunk. A man may fight and nor be slain. A man may kiss another bonny lass, and I will welcome him back again. So ladies, take your glass. Let's toast to the laddies, because life would be a lot more boring without them.
Looking at my time here, guys. I got 1 second. All right. We've got time for another song here. Good morning. So, I guess one more song.
Well, that was wonderful. Thank you, guys. I should be doing Green Grey the Rushes now. It's tribute to the lassies, but my heart's in the Highlands. Highlands, my heart is not here. My heart's in the Highlands, chasing you. Chasing the wild deer, following the road. My heart's in the Highlands, wherever the Highlands, farewell to the north, the birthplace of valor, the country of love. Wherever I wander, wherever I rove, the hill to the Highlands forever. Forever I mountains I covered with snow.
Farewell to the straits and green valleys Farewell to the forests and the highland woods. Farewell to the torrents and downpouring My heart is not here, my heart's in the highlands, chasing the deer. Chasing the wild deer, following the road. My heart's in the highlands, wherever I'll see you in the Highlands in April.
Alright, I'm going to give this a go. So you're going to have to tolerate this full-blooded Italian woman trying to talk about Robert Burns' poems. So I did a little research, and they talked about the top 10 Robert Burns poems that you should know about. And this one spoke to me because I am very proud to say that I have been married to my husband for 41 years, and we've been together for 43. He's over at the bar, which is where I actually met him, was at a bar. So this is a poem about a woman addressing her husband, reassuring him that although his hair is graying, he and they will go hand in hand through the rest of their life. So please forgive me, those of you who actually know how to speak Scottish or Celtic or whatever I'm supposed to say, and I hope I don't bastardize it too bad, but here goes. The poem is John Anderson, My Joe. John Anderson, my Joe, John. When we were first acquaint, your locks were like the raven. Your bonny brow was bent, but now your brow is belled, John. John Anderson, my Joe, John. We climbed the hill together, and mony a canty day, John. We've had it with another. Now we maun totter down, John, and hand in hand we'll go, and sleep together at the foot, John Anderson, my Joe.
That was a great job, thank you. Mr. Fletcher? Again, if anybody else wants to do it, please just raise your hand and I will see you and each other next.
Reading classes are on. So, we've heard some fine Scottish poetry from Robert Burns, so it's on to hear some more. But I think it's a mistake to think that he only wrote in Scottish dialect and was merely capable of expressing the thoughts and desires of the country people. He was, quite capable of writing in standard and quite eloquent English. Now, what follows is not a poem. It is what's called flighting or fleeting, which is a literary exercise in the tradition list of insults. So to put this in context, we're at the beginning of a long, ugly political campaign where insults traditionally fly back and forth. And as we've seen, they've pretty much been at the level that would embarrass a fifth grade schoolyard bully. This can be raised to a high art. So I'll read through this list. Lots of them are literary insults, but not all of them. So to start, thou unit of language, thou Englishman never was south the Tweed, thou servile echo, fashionable barbarisms, thou quack, bending the nostrils of empirical elocution, thou marriage maker between vowels and consonants on the Gretna green of caprice, thou cobbler, botching the flimsy socks of bombast oratory, thou blacksmith, hammering the rivets of absurdity, thou butcher, and brewing thy hands in the bowels of orthography, thou arch-heretic in pronunciation, thou pitch-pipe of affected emphasis, thou carpenter, mortising the awkward joints of jarring sentences, thou squeaking dissonance of cadence, thou pimp of gender, thou lion herald to silly etymology, the antipode of grammar, thou executioner of construction, thou brood of the speech-distracting builders of the Tower of Babel, thou lingual confusion worse confound, thou scape-gowls from the land of syntax, thou scavenger of mood and tense, thou murderous coucher of infant learning, thou ignis factus, misleading the steps of benighted ignorance, thou pickle-herring in the puppet shell of nonsense, thou faithful recorder of barbarous idiom, thou persecutor of syllabication, thou baleful meteor foretelling and facilitating the rapid approach of knots and arrows.
Does anybody else like to go to the meeting tonight? Anybody else? In the hand? Okay. That being said, we're going to move on to the last of our formal readings for the night. The reading is called the World Memory. And for those of you who joined us last year, we had Robert, who was at the Lamb of Friends, to do a reading for the World Memory. It was just absolutely amazing. So this year I have tagged his son, Cal, to come up and do our World Memory. So, Mr. Cal,
okay, so one of the meanest things my friends ever done to me was ask me to follow my mother from last year. For those of you who weren't here last year, I'm just going to remind you a couple of her high points. She talked about the fact that Burns grew up in a defeated and disheartened country. She reminded folks about the honor and the integrity of the country and their culture. And she talked about how throughout Scottish history, they valued individual liberty, they valued equal opportunity, they put a huge importance on equal education for all. And they also had a tremendous value for the common man. She reminded us that Scotland lost their independence not through a lack of ability or courage, but really lost their country from the treason of a few men for personal gain. The result of that treason resulted in a series of defeats and the clearances of the Highlands, and it scattered people. It was a diaspora for all practical purposes. Sorry. It scattered people for all practical purposes across the world. And it's one of the reasons you find Burns nights and Scottish Highland Games from New Zealand to Australia to Norway to Germany to South America and of course North America. He had outspoken courage, and it's a good reminder of the power of a single voice in troubling times and uncertain times. But Burns was an awful lot more than a needed patriotic voice. He was a keen observer of his times, and he paid attention to the world around him very, very closely. He was more than a poet. He was more than a songwriter. He was more than a balladeer. He would talk about the simple things we heard earlier this evening, the poem about a wee timorous beastie, a mouse whose house had been disrupted by plowing. He talks about a simple thing like a lady happy in a new hat sitting in church with a louse crawling around the brim. He calls out a friar and his hypocrisy and not living up to his vows and responsibilities. He wrote poems about drink and its relief, but also its cost. He wrote about wars, not just at his own country, but away. He wrote extensively about the war in the United States that was unfolding at that time in his life. For lack of a better word, he was a renowned blogger of the time. Of course, that wasn't a word in use at that time. But through the course of just his extensive writing of epitaphs, epigrams, correspondence, and observations, they number in the hundreds. And yes, I had to look up the difference between epitaph and epigram, do it yourself. But he was really a chronicler of his time and his place in the people around him. He had an incredibly sharp tongue, which he really used most frequently and saved for the most wealthy and the most privileged in the society. And just kind of a quick example to highlight that, and I'm not going to try to do a Scottish brogue, but one of his little short poems was The Toady. What of earls with whom you have supped, and of dukes that you have dined with yourselves? Lord, a louser is still a louse, though it crawl upon the curl of a queen. But if you spend any time really reading through his tremendous letters, and they number in the hundreds, what you really find out about Burns is he was a fine friend, and he valued friendship. He was the kind of man who was well known for taking a diamond ring and scrawling poems or little short messages on the windows of pubs. And I can tell you, if I did that at the places I tend to frequent, they would ask me to leave and maybe send me a bill for the window that I defaced. But those windows are prized throughout Scotland, and they're framed and protected over time. Obviously, he was a pretty charming man. And just to kind of give you an example of friendship, I'm not going to read the whole letter, it's kind of long, but this is just a letter he wrote to a friend of his, a Mr. James Smith, and really the intent is just to recount the weekend he spent with folks out. My dear friend, on a return at a Highland gentleman's hospital mansion, we fell in with a merry party and danced till the ladies left us at 3 in the morning. Our dancing was none of the French or English insipid formal movements. The ladies sung Scotch ballads like angels at intervals. And then we flew at Bab, at the Gloucester, the Tulloch, Loch Aronside, etc., like midges sporting in the multi sun, or craws prognosticating a storm on a Harris days. When the dear lasses left us, we ranged round the few minutes that we went out to pay our devotions to the glorious lamp of the day peering over the towering top of Belmullen. Well-kneeled man, a full glass in his hand, and I, as priest, repost some rhyming nonsense. Like Thomas of Rhymer's prophecies, I suppose. After a small refreshment of the gifts of Summus, we proceeded to spend the day at Loch Lomond and reached Dumbarton in the evening. We dined at another good fellow's house and consequently pushed the bottle when we went out to mount our horses. The letter goes on to talk about time riding the horses, a frolicking race with other friends, just adventures and good times. And I look at a table of friends, and I look at friends around this room, and I think about the years that we've spent and the adventures we've shared. I think it takes a bard to put a coin on it. And so there's a brief poem. I just want to read, if I can find it. Here's a bottle and an honest friend. What would you wish for more, man? Who keens before life may end? What his share me, O care man? Then catch the moments as they fly, and use them as you ought, man. Believe me, happiness is shy, and comes not I when sought, man. So, with that, I propose a toast to beloved friends and to immortal memory.
Al, thank you very much. Greatly appreciate that. So, show of hands. Like I said, everybody had haggis now tonight. Yes? Everybody's had it now? The whole room has had haggis. What did you guys think? Right? Haggis is good. All right. Good evening. Hi, I'm Ray. I'm Ray, and I have a camera problem. Apparently, I make up for things with lots of wooden sticks. Thank you, Kaylin. So, I'm going to test your R's tonight. Can everybody roll their R's? Kind of weak. Let me hear it again. Almost there. One more time. Good, good. All right. So, you've probably heard this song before, or read the poem, Rantin' Rovin' Robin. Yes? So this was a poem written by Robbie Burns about his own life, and if you actually dig into the words, it's a bit shocking. He was a randy guy. But I won't divulge into that right now. We'll go through this poem. All right. So there's going to be a verse I'm going to need your help with, all right? You'll know it. There once was a lad born in Kyle, but wasn't a day or wasn't a style. I doubt it's hardly worth the while to be say nice with Robin. Here's the choir, or chort. Robin was a roving boy, a rantin', rovin', rovin'. Robin was a roving boy, rantin', rovin', robin. And one more time. Rantin', rovin', robin. Okay, one more time. Rantin', rovin', robin. Well done. Our monarchs hindmost ye, but Anna was 25 days begun. 'Twas then a blast of January wind blew Hansel in on Robin. Robin was a roving boy. Rantin', rovin', robin. Robin was a roving boy. Rantin', rovin', robin. The gossip keep in his hoof, 'twas show what lives in the sea de poof, the willy boy be nae coof. I think we'll call him Robin. One more time. Robin was a roving boy. Rantin', rovin', robin. Robin was a rantin', rovin', robin. Good job. He has misfortunes, great and small, but a heart aboon them all. He'll be a credit to us all. We'll all be proud of Robin. Robin was a... That's right. Where am I here? Rantin', rovin'. Robin was a... Rantin', rovin'. Thank you. But sure as 3 times 3 make 9,
I'll see ya book a score in line. This chapel dearly like our kin, so leaves mean on thee, Robin. Robin was a? Rantin Robin, Rantin Robin. Robin was a? Rantin Robin. Good faith, quick school, I doubt your gar, the bonny lass lie a spar, but 20 thoughts ye may have a war, so blessings on thee, Robin. Robin was a? Rantin Robin, Rantin Robin. Robin was a? Rantin Robin. Well done.
Hi, I'm Mary Starrett, Yamhill County Commissioner, and I'm at the 3rd Annual Celtic Heritage Festival, and the dinner's been great. It's the Robert Burns dinner. We all had a great time, lots of Scottish culture. As a second-generation Scotch-Irish, my grandmother from the north of Ireland, but we just came back from a trip to Ireland and Scotland, and this is a great representation of the culture of the Celtic people. So I'm just really pleased to see that this community has supported not only this cultural event, but everybody who has roots with the Celtic people.
Okay, folks, our ticket sales for the raffle are all done. We're tallying things up right now, and we'll be having our drawing here in a few minutes.
Alrighty then. Who wants to win a little over $500? Let me introduce you to my beautiful bride, Nikki McLaren. Yes. She was going to read you some poetry tonight, maybe even do a little dance, but she is just going to pick the winner, so that's a good compromise. I think we could do that. You ready? All right. No. All right, ready? All right, let's do this. Dig deep. All right. Stick your face on that.
This is 127-0041.
David Carlman. Tell him what he's won.
Why would you use a guy's middle name? Kyle? Kyle, you won $535.
It's legit. We're not ready. But wait, there's more. Hold on to your tickets. Don't lose them. Just a second, keep them out. We might have another prize.
So for the next two drawings we're going to do here, next person that wins gets their choice of the two desserts we have. One is a brown sugar bourbon caramel cheesecake that was made by our piper tonight, Scott. The other option is a flourless Ardbeg 10 tort that was made by Ricky over here.
And if you haven't been to the 411, you don't know what you're missing. All right, Nikki, unless you want to do a dance.
Nope.
You're employed.
Oh, the suspense.
127-0090.
He's got 90.
Come on down. Let me verify that ticket though. No, it is. It is.
What would you like?
Okay, the Outback 10 is gone.
Thank you. Have a lovely evening.
All right, we have one more. Are you ready?
Yeah. Shake that bag.
Nikki, do you want to dance?
Yeah.
Okay. Stop picking from the same table.
Different part of the bag. 127-01-36.
Is that Lindsay? Come on down. Can someone describe the cake that Lindsay Burshover is about to win?
Yes, I almost licked it.
So what this cake is once again, a brown sugar bourbon caramel cheesecake.
Scott, our high version.
So that was made by, hey Scott, stand up a second, Scott. Scott, our private roommate. Part of the phone pipe game.
Confirm the ticket, though. I guess we trust.
Okay, folks, we're going to have Angus come up here and do one last song of the night. So, I hope you guys enjoy this last song. It brought tears to our eyes last year at our first supper. It's a great rendition. We're going to sing Old Lang Syne.
Not many people have their songs sung hundreds of years after they moved on, or have it be their third most song in the world, which is what this is. And not many people have their birthdays celebrated centuries after they're gone, apart from Jesus. He's in good company. So you guys got to sing along for this one. Should old acquaintance be forgot, never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot, and old lang syne? For old lang syne, my dear, for we'll take a cup of kindness, yeah, for old lang syne. We toiled on the boat that breaks, pulled the gowans fine. We've wandered many a weary foot to old lang syne. For old lang syne, my dear, for old lang syne, we'll take a cup of kindness, yeah, for old lang syne. Twice more sun till
time. Seas between us break their odds so no lang syne. For lang syne, my dear, for lang syne, we'll take a cup of kindness here for lang syne. And here's a hand, my trusty friend. He's a hand of iron. We'll take a cup of kindness, yeah, for old lang syne. You ready? Who's ready? Now who's ready? For old lang syne, my dear. For old lang syne, we'll take a cup of kindness, yeah, for old lang syne. One more! For old lang syne, my dear. For old lang syne, we'll take a cup of kindness, yeah, for old lang syne. Give yourselves a hand.
Thank you, Ingus. Thank you. Okay, guys, that wraps up our show for the night. However, our bar is still open for about another hour. Feel free to mingle amongst yourselves, talk amongst yourselves. Come and say hi to our board members, have a drink with the board members. Yes.
Second weekend of June.
Yes. And so, in case you all don't realize, we are the folks that put on the McMinnville Scottish Festival. For those of you who have not been yet, you need to come. It will be the second weekend in June, which will be the 13th and 14th of June this year. We hope to see you guys all there.
Just one more thing. Everybody, raise your glass and thank Tony for the evening. Our MC.